You think you know Prometheus? Well, here's 10 things you may not have known about the Alien prequel.
Mission briefing is about to start, Captain. Might want to make your way down.
Well, I haven't had my breakfast yet.
Don't you want to know why we're here?
No, ma'am. I just fly the ship.
Ridley Scott and James Cameron began developing a fifth Alien installment together in the early 2000s. Their intention was that Cameron would produce the film and Scott would direct. They sought to make the film a prequel to the original 1979 film. However, this project was sidelined when development began on Alien vs. Predator as Cameron backed out, feeling that Alien vs. Predator would invalidate the franchise. It wasn't until 2009 that Scott gave the project his attention again and retooled the original idea that he and Cameron had. A script was written, though it was a departure from the Alien franchise that was known previously. Scott wanted it to share the same universe, but explore its own themes and mythos.
What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with me?
Yes.
Ellie, they're all dead. So that means that we are alone.
Production on Prometheus began in April of 2010, with principal photography beginning of March of 2011. The film was shot with 3D cameras, the first film of Scott's foray into the format. However, due to the brightness of the lighting required on set to film in 3D, the traditional hauntingly dark atmosphere that comes with the Alien franchise had to be added in post-production. Almost all of the sets in the film are practical. Scott did his best to keep the use of CGI to a minimum, primarily only using it in scenes that were in space or featured the alien surface of LV-223. As such, the film only has approximately 1,300 visual effects shots.
There's nothing. I know. Have a good journey, Mr. Whalen.
Because of the vast majority of the sets being practical, Ridley Scott initially suggested that the actors could sleep and effectively live on the Prometheus set during filming. Why would anyone want to do that? Scott is rather known for drawing extensive and detailed storyboards for his projects. He would often sit with the visual effects art director Stephen Messing and draw for hours. These, quote, Ridley-grams, as they were affectionately termed, proved invaluable for the art team as they cataloged Scott's drawings and closely followed them to further flesh out concepts and ideas. Based on Ridley Scott's storyboards, Messing tried to compose a believable setting when designing the surface of LV-223. He combined NASA reference photos, footage from Iceland, footage from Jordan, and 3D set extensions. The rationale for combining real-world imagery was to retain a strong sense of realism despite LV-223's status as an exomoon.
Our first alien.
I guess we're really lucky we brought you, Melbourne biology.
The movie's opening scene was shot entirely in Iceland and took 2 weeks to complete. Initially, Natalie Portman, Abby Cornish, Angelina Jolie, Anne Hathaway, and Charlize Theron were all at one point considered to play Elizabeth Shaw. The studio pressed for Portman, but it was given to Charlize Theron. However, Theron had to decline the role as it conflicted with another project she was set to work on. With the role in the air again, Scott insisted on Noomi Rapace for the role after having seen her performance in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
I need to know why. What did we do wrong? Why do you hate us?
After Rapace was cast, Theron became available again after a schedule change, though her role had been given away. She was instead cast as Meredith Vickers.
I can't see you, but I know you can hear me, you tin can. Now report.
Yes, Miss Vickers.
Better get your ass back here right now. These idiots are about to infect my ship.
Many of the first designs of the creature that would feature in the film were based on real-world creatures. Several of the creatures that were first designed were based on the goblin shark or featured some type of mouth similar to that of a shark. Over the course of their design evolution, some of the creatures became too monstrous. Scott was adamant about keeping the designs of the creatures believable and not too showy. Apparently, several of the designers ended up spending several hours visiting natural history museums for inspiration. One of the concept artists for the film would spend time with Scott looking over reference books of both animals and classical sculpture. Of these meetings, both the primordial facehugger and xenomorph were born.
Take a look at this.
And here's a bonus one. For the film, Ridley Scott reached out to the University of London to help develop a new language for the film. One of the linguists who worked on the language, Dr. Anil Biltu, has explained that the core influence behind the language is Proto-Indo-European, or Pi for short. Pi is a hypothesized spoken language that predates Sanskrit and Greek. This was chosen to have an oral resonance to languages the viewer might know. It is not meant to be accurate. Instead, it is used to suggest a connection between the engineers and terrestrial languages. With the spoken language, an alien script was also developed, which is featured throughout the film. As an additional thank you, Bilto and other members of the University of London make an appearance in the film.
Perfect.
That's it for this episode of You Think You Know Movies. Make sure to subscribe, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and get the latest movie and TV news on ScreenCrush.com.